talking the other day, you told me about NFTs and you mentioned crypto art. Now, what is that? Because that sounds super interesting. Crypto art. I've got the cryptocurrency going on, but what is crypto art?
Yeah, so I guess I should give a little background because it's kind of a perfect unity of my interests throughout college. When I first got up here to Northeastern, I was trying to figure things out. I spent the second semester of my second year in San Francisco doing this entrepreneurship program because I was like, I could do business and make some money. And entrepreneurship kind of seemed like the most creative side of business, so I was interested in that. And I ended up working at a company in the blockchain space, kind of right after Bitcoin had a big year in 2017. So that was interesting. I didn't know all that much about cryptocurrency and blockchain, and started learning about it and became pretty fascinated. It feels like a pretty liberating technology for people all around the world. I mean, just a friendly reminder to everybody out there that 70% of US dollars in existence have been printed since Bitcoin was invented in 2008. So keep that in mind as you decide to save your US dollars or not. And then the next year, Northeastern has a co-op program, so you get to do internships throughout, like full time. So I worked at another blockchain company the next year and met some interesting people, learned a lot more about space. And then I guess last summer, I worked on a startup with a buddy of mine from the blockchain club as the CMO. And so that was interesting, and that kind of felt like, I don't know, the full experience of like, if I were to go to the entrepreneurship route, because like I like that idea of starting something from the ground. And that was really, really interesting. My buddy Steve's still working on the project. They're getting some good traction. But I was kind of, I wasn't committed, and I was working on digital art on my computer on the side, and I kind of realized like that's what I want to spend my time doing. So definitely got interested in that stuff. And in the past year, as you said, the crypto art world has really started to blow up. And for anybody that doesn't know what that is, an NFT is a non-fungible token. What that means, start with what fungible means. You can think of Bitcoin as a fungible token or a fungible cryptocurrency. The Bitcoin that I have is the same as the Bitcoin that another person has. It can be used for the same purposes. It only matters, the only difference is the value that we have. And a non-fungible token is essentially a unique digital asset. And you can think about it as a digital collectible. And it's really uniquely suited for representing creative ideas in a digital sense, such as visual and audio ideas. So this past year, there's been a big just kind of wave of crypto artists having success selling these NFTs and really making careers out of it. And I've been paying attention, but I've mostly been painting. And I was like, I'm not primarily a digital artist these days. I don't know if it's for me, but I've kind of realized there's like all types of artists that get involved with the space. And if you kind of scan a painting and just make a slight animation of it and kind of create a GIF, people value that as an NFT. And so this semester for one of my courses, I'm doing an independent study on NFTs. So I'll be writing some blog posts about it because I want other people to know about this stuff, because I think it's the foundation for a digital creative economy.
It sounds like it.
And I think it's really empowering for independent creators in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's something I'm excited about. I'll probably be releasing my first NFT in about a week.
Okay, so Right. So you're releasing it. So what exactly is it gonna be? Is it gonna be a GIF, like you said, like a GIF, or what exactly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where is that gonna be? Would it be on your website?
Maybe I need to figure out if there's a widget that I could do through my website. I'll at least put a link on my website. But I'll be promoting it on IG and Twitter, I'm sure. But there's a platform called Zora that I'm pretty excited about, where artists can kind of create their own markets to sell these NFTs on. And they're just starting out. I think they're just about to open their like public beta, but they're doing really cool stuff for the space. And a lot of the more established marketplaces are just difficult to get onto. So I'm sending in my applications, crossing my fingers. But I kind of like the idea of starting off on this new platform, and their mission statement definitely resonates with me a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to get into that. It'll be fun. And just like the learning more about this and learning more about the metaverse and like virtual worlds that people are incorporating this stuff into, and the idea of having ownership of art or like even digital fashion in a metaverse is super interesting. There's these worlds like Decentraland and Crypto Voxels that I've been hanging out in a bit, and you can just kind of walk around.
So what a Crypto Voxel? What is that?
Crypto Voxels is the name of the metaverse.
Metaverse. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So is it like an online like virtual world kind of thing?
Yeah.
And you can exactly like walk around in it?
Yeah. And there's a ton of awesome art galleries. So one of my goals for this semester is to get my work up in a virtual gallery.
Dude, yeah, that would be cool.
So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, and you can see other people in the space checking out the art. It's a really cool way to find a bit of community in a time when we don't get that as much.
Yeah, we can't. Okay.
So that's been really cool to learn about, and I'm super excited about everything that's happening in that space.
There's definitely an oversaturation of artists, and what I mean by that is like there's a lot of people who are putting out music just to do it. For us, I think I can speak for both me and Jay when I say like it goes beyond just music for us. We have dreams and ambitions and goals.
Right.
So I think a lot of it is people. I look at studio times and I look at how many artists are in there. I'm like, these dudes are like, not to be an asshole, but these dudes don't have a shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's mainly just from a creative standpoint, like, or they're just copying the same flows. Like the Detroit sound is huge right now in this area.
Like the scam type of.
Yeah, like everybody's rapping like Detroit artists right now, and everybody's rapping like so and so. Like I'm looking for Louisville to make its own wave, and maybe Louisville's own wave is having a bunch of artists with different sounds, that are dope. And so, from my perspective, I just look at it like, why is everybody trying to do something that's not already that's already done? Why would you not try to be more original with your music? So it's like, I don't know. It's just my personal thoughts on it. I mean, obviously, Louisville's a hating ass city, and they don't want to see it get out. I'll be honest with you.
That's a big topic I talked about on the first season of this show with a lot of artists. Man, it's like in the business, bro, the music business. It's done in a very inefficient way in Louisville. And it just, it's just not there yet. The music business in Louisville.
It's a bunch of people who act and think that they know what's happening.
Yes. Now,
if you go to Atlanta, like that's how the music industry works, and that's going to operate completely different. That's why I look at D. Lee as inspiration, because he's out there doing his thing. He's down in Atlanta figuring out his wave, and he's doing a great job at that.
Right.
And then you look at all the people who are stuck in the mindset of like Louisville, like, bro, the goal's not to make it in Louisville. The goal's to make it worldwide. I'm not looking to. Yeah, that shit's fire. I'm not looking to make a wave in Louisville. Obviously, I want to have my cities back, and it may sound hypocritical of what I have said previously, but like, I think there's a lot of people with egotistical problems here in Louisville, and they don't want to see other people make it out because they haven't made it out themselves.
Yeah.
But I look at it like, well, maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe that's on you.
So the 502 Underground, the brand, man, it's I see, on your Instagram, I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty impressive. When did you start this?
The exact date is actually on the page. I can't
Oh,
remember
really?
it off my head. What does it say on there?
July 20th, 2018.
Yep. That's when I had started. I was in the room and I was just sitting there. I'm like, man, I miss the city. Because I currently live in Miami.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, man, what is a way I can stay in tune with the city and be able to like just give back and being able to stay in tune. And that was what I started. I started off my first post was a rapper from the city called Keith, NPR Keith. And from there it was up. I just kept posting, and trying to put content that nobody's ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Artists that haven't been posted. Like I posted artists before they got big. You know what I'm saying? Already, like I can name Jack. I can name XoBaby. I can name Heavy Honcho. Who else? There's at least two others. Or G, STG. Like I was posting all these artists before they, got big from the city. So
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm definitely help pushing the culture of Louisville out there. Definitely.
Hey, nice,
Absolutely,
man.
bro. So you said okay. I see you've been posted. You got posted about Jack, and you said STG and
2K.
2K. Yeah, I saw the post with 2K on here. What did you say? Okay. Oh, I thought I'm trying to find your first post, but it looks like you got a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of posts. My
yeah.
first post was Keith, NPR Keith.
NPR Keith. He's a Louisville artist.
Yeah, he's actually kind of big. People know him in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a big artist that's been consistent. He just hasn't got to that next level yet.
Right. So
he's working hard, and he's there. He's doing his thing.
So you are like, okay, when you make these posts, are people coming to you to post them, or are you just doing, kind of the culture a favor with posting about these artists, or what's the process like?
Both, to be honest with you. Like at first, I was just with my knowledge already from artists that I listen, because I listen to a lot of Louisville artists personally, like on my Apple Music and shit. Like I just don't just promote and post. Like I literally listen to certain people, and then from there I was just like I was posting throwback videos that people haven't seen,
mm-hmm.
and posting just whatever I seen, because I follow a lot of artists from Louisville, so I would see on their feed on my page, and then I would just go to 502 Underground, post it, tag them, use my hashtags, and it's more about the page grew more because people were sharing it on their story, and like when you're from Louisville, you're like, what is this 502 Underground like? So of course you're gonna go in there like. So that's kind of where I got the name from,
right?
Because it was just like, what is 502 Underground like? That sounds interesting.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I've definitely been around there, but see, with 502 Underground, I have like different things that we offer. So other than just promo, like if you want a photo shoot, if you want a logo, graphic art, flyer, anything like that.
Yeah.
So I've had people come to me and get an interview, get a logo, get a flyer, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm like a store, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I see, it says book us for anything. And then I've seen, let me pull up your YouTube here. You're doing interviews too, and you've got kind of a whole, let me pull up the YouTube here.
Yeah, I got it.
So you're doing interviews also?
Right.
As I've seen. Yeah, it looks like you got a whole bunch of.
I got quite a few. I've tried to get some exclusive. Like I told Tate, I was trying to do an interview. I was really trying to get an interview with him when he came down here, but we didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see you got some stuff with Faith on here. He was a guest on the show on Lush Louisville.
Faith. I got Faith.
No one's gonna tell you how good your beat is until you know how good your beat is. Like you, that's hard to like. If you go to a studio, you have to be confident in yourself and knowing that your beat is good. So it's really just building relationships, honestly, and then and maintaining relationships. So like, even though it may seem like an artist, you're sending an artist beat, you're sending a manager beats, and they're not getting back with you, they're probably using something or they're hearing something they're just not sending it back because they're not either able to, or they're just forgetting. But it's just good to know, like okay, I built the relationship. It's there. At any point in time, they could blow up, and you just gotta like foster that relationship. Just keep going, keep striving.
So
Like,
okay, absolutely true. So fostering the relationship. What do you mean? So keep going, like keep sending
yeah,
beats.
Keep like, and you may think like it's probably annoying to them, but it's really not. There are artists that are always looking for beats. If they're bad, it's probably annoying, but you're gonna get better over time. So even if you're bad and you're sending them beats off at first, they're gonna notice you getting better, and it's only gonna like build your relationship because yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's amazing. So you quit your day job and you invested. So talk a little bit about that. What was that like, quitting your day job and then pursuing cooking?
My brother would always tell me, like, my bad, I'm gonna put this charger. My brother would always tell me, like, man, you too talented to be working for somebody, man. You need to work for yourself. Like, you need to invest in yourself.
Right.
And I'm like, I was so scared to jump out there in the water. I didn't really know like where to start or what to do. So I had like $2,000 to my name when I quit my job, and I was like, bro, I'm just gonna jump out here. You know, we're gonna cook one day. We're gonna cook like 20 plates. We're gonna post them on Facebook, Instagram, and just see what happens. Literally, the day after I quit my job, me and my brother were just posting, and it's like, we're selling plates. If you want one, let us know. We'll bring it to you. You can come and get it however you want to do it. And like the first day, I think we sold like 7 out of 20 plates. We sold like 7 plates. So I think I just gave my money back. Like, I didn't even profit at all. And I was like, you know what, bro? I'm about to go apply for a job tomorrow because this ain't gonna work. He was like, no, bro. He was like, give it time. It's gonna take time.
Yeah, definitely.
Eventually, just over time, word of mouth, and just certain meat, the flavor itself, just it spoke for itself. And people were like, oh, I want to try this. This is a good, everybody's talking about it. I want to try this. And my clientele just kept building and building, and then like it just happened. I'm blessed. I thank God every day for it.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Congratulations, quitting your day job like that. That can be scary, but it's it's like
scary. It was really weird because like it was a time like I quit, and like because I told you March 24th is when I actually start. Like that's my start, like to my business. I quit like the end of April. The end of February, and I was like, damn, bro, like I got like a couple of weeks to my next check. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I just made it work, man. Made it happen by the grace of God. I just made that shit happen, bro.
Hell yeah.
I was a little surprised. I'm not sure who watches your podcast, so this is the only place that I'm gonna ever speak on this. I'm not gonna speak on it nowhere else. You have the exclusives on what I'm about to tell you, and don't nobody know this. Nobody. You heard me?
Mm-hmm.
So I got a little track that I redid with Ariana Grande. Okay, the track that you and I did, Clocks and Choppers.
I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna drop that. That's what's coming next. So I'm gonna drop the little Ariana Grande joint. What's that? You drinking the Bud Light?
Finish up with what you got going on. Grandma's plates made.
Oh. What? You want to see my mama?
Yeah, man. Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You gotta go. You about to eat?
Nah, I've been done. Hey, she want me to take my granny a plate. My granny.
Okay.
So my granny's waiting.
Oh, okay.
She'll be alright.
So she'll be alright.
She'll be alright.
Grandma can wait.
No, he's gonna take Grandma a plate because she's sitting there with that door open, waiting on him.
I am gonna take Granny a plate for sure. I would never not take Granny a plate. They get the drinking. Alcohol bringing the demons out, don't it?
That's been known to happen, yes. So,
but now I'm gonna drop this little Ariana Grande joint, right? Mm-hmm. And right after that, I'm dropping the EP. So it's gonna have 5 to 7 songs on it. So it's like a little mini album. It's gonna have like 5 to 7 songs on it. Probably like 5 though. But then right after I drop that, me and Woo. So Jon Woo.
Woo.
If y'all never heard his album on Spotify, End of the Woo, like Jon Woo got an album.
Yeah, he produces, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's producing the track, engineering the track, Slick's recording it, and then KY Engineering's mixing and mastering it, and we shooting a video, and it's going on World Star. So that's coming after the EP. So once the EP comes, then anyone who watched your video and cared enough, they're gonna be like, yo, that shit Woo about to drop.
Right.
No one else will know because it's a secret until it drops.
Exchange program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So after the election, I think all of us, as like devastated as so this was 2016, my first year of school.
Oh, okay. All right.
As like we were just so devastated, and as an artistic institution, we also recognized, as like awful as these 4 years are going to be with this presidency, it also is going to be perhaps the greatest time for artists, because we have like a lot of things to say about this, and we have a lot of like, it just activated us in a way of like, oh, I have something to say about that. and so a lot of us, you know, we explored ways that we could combine our activism with our artistry. And one of the first things I like wanted to touch base with, I think like coming from Kentucky and then seeing how many or like how red Kentucky was when they voted, a lot of people would turn to me and be like, who did you, oh, you come from Kentucky, so you probably know. And then I was like, that's just not fair, because I know a lot of like the activists who work the hardest, like the communities of color in like rural Kentucky and these like coal mining towns, these families that have been there forever. I'm like, I know how hard those activists work. And like, just because, you know, you're reading these articles that were written by urban folks about those rural areas, I was like, but I don't think they're crediting the amount, like those little specks of blue and all of those like activist communities who like tried really hard to, and had these like very difficult conversations with their communities. And so I was curious about those people, and then I got together with two of my classmates in my drama class, and then an opera singer at the school who had done work with environmentalists and activists in Appalachia and in a lot of the regions, I like just outside of Huntington, West Virginia, and in Eastern Kentucky. And so we all got together and we were like, we want to investigate the conversation between the urban rural divide, and like, why do we write off all like assume all rural people voted for Trump when like that's not the case, or why do rural people like see urbanites as like, you know, sucking up all opportunity, or like, what are these stereotypes we have for or against each other, and how does it divide us politically? How can art kind of bring us back together, or like at least get us in a space where we can have a working conversation that's, you know, that's coming from a place of empathy. And my biggest thing during that time was when, like, you know, when I was exposed to someone who like said, I voted for, or if I was talking to this person and if they admitted to voting for Trump, or if they started talking about like Make America Great Again, how my impulse was to be like, no, and like wanting to just erupt because of how like violent those kind of statements are. Like, how do you control that impulse and like actually have a conversation? Like, well, why did you vote for him? What did you see in his policy? Like, what is your experience? What are your hardships that like you would turn to just, a monster like that and expect him to be our nation's leader? And so like just trying to work with, there was a lot of impulse to be of like cancel culture and like I can't engage. And as much as I participated in that cancel culture, this project was an excellent lesson in like, sit in that discomfort and how can we create like change out of this, or how can we break this down and like really observe where we're going wrong here, or where we're just like, but it was writing off rural people as like those stereotypes when I was like, I grew up around the strongest activists I know were from Eastern Kentucky. And so we went down to that first year of school, we all four went down to Whitesburg, Kentucky, and we got a grant from Juilliard to do this work. And then, when you're working with a small community like that and you are the outsider and you came from a lot of privilege, like we were 4 Juilliard students coming from New York City. Yeah. We got a grant to come down here. How do you work with that privilege? And it's just like white privilege. Like, how do I acknowledge that I have this privilege and then use it to lift up people of less privileged, people in a less privileged position, instead of like separating myself or like allowing that to make me feel guilty. It's like acknowledge it, and then like I was saying at school, it's like acknowledge that thing and then work with it. Like, okay, I recognize like we got all this funding to come down here, but every ounce of that money is going to be for us and for like it's going to be shared. Yeah. For the work that we want to create, not the work we want to like do for you. It's like for us to meet in a common space. And so we did like potlucks with the community. We met with this awesome program called AMI, Appalachian Media Institute. And that was like high school age students and older, who were like, some of the most like equitable and like charged with like activism people. And, they're living in this like very small town in Appalachia. And so getting together with them and then creating a piece about the urban-rural divide. And I think one of their main concerns with like us coming down there was like, people are fascinated by Appalachia. They want to come and they want to tell our story for us. They want to come and like paint us as something that maybe we aren't. Yeah. And, they're not documentaries aren't going down there to like, not always going down there to document like all the activism that's happening there. They might be going down to like, heighten the poverty and like, oh, look, that's why all of them believe this politically, when it's like, no, not all people. They come from hardship, but they didn't vote for Trump. Actually, they're like really fighting against him. And so it was just really, and then, coming from, like I said, coming from the privilege we have, there was also this thing of like the hero complex, like acknowledging there's this thing when I have a lot of privilege, like having gotten out of Kentucky and having gotten to like have a college experience out of that state, and then coming back to that state to do artistic and political work. Like, how do you not fall into this hero complex where you're like, I'm here to help your community, to like, I'm here to share what I've learned. It's like, no. How do you come and like just like acknowledging the experience you've had, but like meeting truly in the middle and coming in with an open heart and understanding that they, you know, even though I came from Huntington, they see Huntington as like this huge sprawling urban place full of a lot of privilege. And so it was this extremely humbling and informative time. And I think, you know, we were rolling with it and certainly wanted to continue. But we just couldn't get any more funding from the school. And it's difficult organizing something of that and we really wanted to get the AMI students we were working with to come up to Juilliard and like do a show together in our space. But funding that is incredibly difficult. And, you know, we're balancing being students on top of like writing.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and, you know, here I am like making excuses for like why we didn't see this thing through. And I wish it was just such an important and very relevant to who I am is, you know, that urban rural.
Yeah.
Like I've always felt teetering between those two worlds my whole life. And so it was personal.
Really too, just recently, like understanding like, on the podcast that I'm with my co-host, we had a local designer and he's talking a little bit about the process of pricing yourself. And he was like, you have to pay yourself and you have to pay your business. And for me, I always grew up thinking I just have to pay myself. And it's like,
yeah, it's easy to think that.
Yeah, there's a whole nother side you have to sustain because it's like the equipment, the whatever that you might not be buying it every day, but it's stuff that you have to kind of invest into it. So it's like whatever you're charging for yourself, it's almost like double it because it's like put money into your business and then pay yourself too. So just learning different things like that just as business continues to grow and as I get older. But yeah, essentially just figure out what the client needs and get a price down, set a date, get a deposit, then make the magic happen, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, those are key points, knowing how to price yourself. And that's something I still continually talk about when people, you know, making songs, making beats, or, you know, want their songs done or recorded. That's a big process. And, you know, it's I guess ever changing, you know, depending on, and then like deciding when your rates go up. That's another thing, you know, those are obviously very important things.
A big part of me as a musician, I believe, is interaction, and collaboration, which is why I think I like jazz so much. Plus the fact that, you know, when you're little, you just watch shows, and I think like a lot of that, the stuff that I used to come in contact with had jazz as its like basis in music. Right. And so I think that just transferred over. But at U of L, they really focus on that collaboration and that interaction, which I really like.
Good. Yeah.
A basis of jazz as well, because you have to take care of the people while you're playing. You have to, you know, support each other, especially as a keyboardist, as a pianist. When we comp, that's sort of a company. When we accompany the soloist or the person that's playing the melody or a singer, we have to support them in any way we can. And I think I really like that aspect about it.
I literally, from the airport in the car, get to the apartment, go upstairs, sit on the bed, turn on the TV, and I'm watching this MTV news clip. It's Kurt Loder, the MTV logo is spinning, and I'm watching this building on fire, and there's this green Range Rover in the video. And I'm looking like, dang, man, it looks like the Range Rover at the studio. And then I'm reading as they scroll, message on the bottom says, legendary Sugar Hill studio burns to the ground due to electrical fire. And then I found out that the room I was in was a room that Puffy was using to develop these girl groups.
Yeah. Wow.
So, like, yeah.
That was like, God, I can't even, that was probably just like a smack in the face. I mean, you were saying you were just there.
Yeah, I was just there like the day before. The crazy thing is this, man. I got a lot of moments like that in my life, but I never looked at them like in a negative way. What the crazy thing is that those were the moments that kept me going, because I felt like I always got my foot in the door somewhere a little bit.
And then, yeah,
just made me, all right, let me try this again. You know what I'm saying? Because every time I get somewhere, and you know, it just kept me going, and so I never look at those as like, dang, I didn't make it. Maybe this ain't for me. I always looked at it as like, oh, this is a sign. This is for me. Let me keep trying. Let me tweak my part. Yeah, let me change up what I'm doing and try again. And obviously it worked.